Good evening. So, sometimes when I'm asked by friends and colleagues about Doctor Who, because let's be honest, in amongst my social circle, I am the person who knows most about Doctor Who.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not being funny about it, but at work, I don't think there's anybody on our staff who knows more about Doctor Who than me. Okay? I think that's a given.
What about your friends like Martin, though?
No. The only two people in this world who... John and Paul. And they're the only two. And those are my two oldest mates, and they know as much, if not more, about Doctor Who than I do. But occasionally people who don't know as much about Doctor Who as I do will say to me, I was going to start watching Doctor Who. Are there any of the old episodes I need to watch? And I would say, no, not really. Just throw yourself into it. You'll work it out. It's fine. And I'm absolutely resolute that that's the truth most of the time, almost all of the time. Maybe apart from this story. Because I genuinely feel to have a full appreciation of this story, I think really honestly, and this is to the detriment of the story perhaps, let's be perfectly honest, because Doctor Who isn't supposed to be for the ultra nerdy fan. It's just not. In fact, Doctor Who fails when it's for the ultra nerdy fan. CF Attack of the Cybermen. But I genuinely feel that at the heart of this episode is a story that has been running, well, quite honestly, since the second ever Doctor Who story, if I'm perfectly frank. Because this isn't just about Davros, it's about Skaro, and it's about the Daleks, and it's about the Doctor's relationship with those things, and it's about how the Daleks has influenced the Doctor. And then overlaid on the top of that, you get the Davros story. Because the Doctor's relationship with Davros is intertwined with, but distinct from that of the Daleks. But then you've also got the Doctor's relationship with Missy.
I love her.
And because a lot of what's going on here, I think, is greatly informed by Pertwee and Delgado, Ainley and his doctors, John Sim and Tennant. And then I think also to have a full appreciation of this story, you need to have got the relevance of Clara to this particular Doctor and the previous one. And that is a lot. That's a lot to have in your head whilst watching this story. And I found it a little bit challenging to pick up on things. I mean, and the thing is, I've got to say this, I think Capaldi does magnificent things in this story. Because his Doctor, I was going to say thawing, that's not quite the right word, but the petulance, because the Doctor can be very, very petulant at times. And I think the sort of weight of expectation on this meeting brings out the petulant side in this Doctor, but also I'm absolutely convinced, and I think this is a fantastic performance, that Capaldi is deliberately evoking other Doctors. There were moments here where I thought, that's a bit Baker, that's a bit Troughton, that's a bit whatever. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that was a very, very, very deliberate ploy on Capaldi's part. The long section, let's be honest, the whole I'm whizzing around in Davros's chair is a bit of a red herring in this story. What Moffat wants here...
It's a bit offensive as well.
Maybe so. Yeah, I never thought of it like that. But what Moffat wants is the long dialogue between the Doctor and Davros. And I have to say, I think it's, golden top-ranked Doctor Who. It really is. And it is a payoff for... this is, spoilers. We are going to see Davros again, but not properly. This is a payoff for resurrection, revelation, remembrance, everything, isn't it? This is what we've been waiting for. And in order to fully appreciate, you spotting the resonances, and I know it was set up in the last story, but, you hold in your hand, if I hold in the hand the virus and all this, well, that's evoked here. So much stuff just bubbles to the surface and informs the conversation going on between the two men. And to fully, I think, appreciate those closing moments before, the plan is revealed. And if I may be a bit critical, what are you doing, Doctor? I mean, your compassion will be a downfall. I get that, but don't just start chucking Time Lord regeneration enemy at Davros.
Yeah. And you wouldn't do it for Davros anyway.
It just doesn't.
It's just a bit like that let's kill Hitler idea.
Yeah, it's not a great shout, is it? I mean, it's just a little bit, no.
Morphy.
And then also, for the Doctor then to just turn around and go, actually, I knew this was the plan all along, you prat. Really? Doesn't that undercut the fact that you were going to do it in the first? I mean, that is a mark on this story. But that doesn't detract from the whole long conversation between the two, which I think is best viewed in the context of how many years with the Doctor Who? 50 previous years with the Doctor Who. So there we go. I think that's tough going on the casual fan. I think it's tough going on anybody who hasn't sat and watched. I mean, Lib and I, a few years back, watched all the Davros stories in order, and it was before this was on, I think. And we had a mighty time listening to The Big Finish and all that, this, that, and the other. The story of Davros is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's one of the most coherently told individual stories that runs through Doctor Who. Yeah, we need to reflect on that at some point. Anyway, that's by the by. So I think that there are, moments aside, that's what this story is about. It's that coming together of those two characters. Capaldi's a superb Doctor to be doing that with, especially given the path that the Doctor's on. And I think, is it Julian Bleach who plays this Davros? Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You can't... What a performance. Anyway, there we go. So then we've got a further rewriting of Clara Oswald's role in this new world of Doctor Who, because she's now the Master's companion, and we get to see how that would work. And of course, it's utterly brilliant because Michelle Gomez is a gift to Doctor Who. She is ceaselessly funny, creepy, threatening. That bit at the start when she's narrating the story of the Doctor and she has to get Clara to work out how he escaped. And then that brilliant bit when he looks like Tom Baker's running behind, and then it's Hartnell. Humphrey loved that bit.
Mendacious is what she is.
What does that mean? Spiteful.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just a joy to behold. And I think, truly, what a blessing to have got Michelle Gomez in this part. What a genius piece of casting. Can you imagine, I'm assuming Moffat, I'll have to go and do the research at some point, but you've got to think that Moffat went, right, I want this person to play my master. Wow, what a superb thing to do. I think this is a highly successful place in the story for Clara to be, trapped in that Dalek. Why do you hate all the companions these days? You hate them so bad. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed Missy talking about the relationship with the Dalek and its gun and emotions and the reloading thing. Whatever the science behind that, the feeling behind it, the idea behind it stacks up for me. Absolutely brilliant. And I really, really enjoyed the conceit of the Daleks in the sewers being the ones to finish off Davros and everybody else's plan. Absolutely fantastic. Although, again, I have to say, this was the plan all along. Doesn't quite land for me. Really, Doctor, could it have not just been a lucky... Could you have not got a lucky break? I think I'd have been happier with it if he just got lucky. But the fact... whatever. Maybe he's lying. Maybe the Doctor's lying. The Doctor lies. The Doctor lies. And then again, we get briefly that glorious relationship between the Doctor and his master, and it's just class. Absolutely class. Elizabeth, I dread to ask this question. What did you think of that episode?
Oh, I was so bored. All the stuff between... I don't understand why the Doctor would entertain the idea of helping Davros. Davros is responsible for, creating weapons of mass destruction. And in the same way, if you could go back and kill Hitler, you should.
It's a big statement.
I would have let Davros perish. And also because I wouldn't be able to convince myself enough that he was being genuine.
That's fair. Yeah.
I would have saved him as a child,
but not.
But killed him as an adult. Because at the point of being a child, I feel like there's an opportunity for his life to go a different way. And once you've been through all of that and you're at the end of someone's life, just stick the pillow on their face.
Jesus Christ.
Is my opinion.
Right, okay, thank you for your contribution, Dr. Collins. Fair enough. I think that's legit. I think the episode, it asks a lot of the viewer to go along with that. And it does try and lay the groundwork. Compassion will be your downfall. You know, it's the continual, it's the long running. But, I mean, let's be honest, we saw Davison try and, you know, the difference of the Doctor's response in Genesis to, what is it, Resurrection? I always mix the two up. Is, you know, that he holds the gun and he can't do it. So maybe that is of a keeping. And maybe, again, and it's tempting, isn't it, to watch all the Dalek stories in order. All the Davros stories. We could do it again. Who wouldn't want to do it again? But I do think it's...
I actually really like Davros.
Well, I think Davros' story is the best story told, like not the Doctors, not the companions who you see week in, week out, where years go by and you see the next time and you... I think it's actually... There we go. And when he describes him as his arch enemy, I think he's probably right in the previous episode. Because I don't...
Because the Master is more like a friend.
It's too complicated a relationship, whereas arch enemies are far more binary, and that stacks up. Anyway, there we go. Listen, I loved it. I thought it was absolute genius. I do have some reservations about the ending.
Reservation of the Daleks.
Where they go out for a meal. But anyway, yeah, class. And I'm loving this new Capaldi-ish, sort of like a bit more chill.
I don't like his sunglasses.
Yeah, Sonic sunglasses.
Sonic sunglasses, boo.
Yeah, I remember when I was with John and Paul.
You didn't let that go, did you?
Well, when I was with John and Paul at the in Stoke at the Pottery Museum, John made some references that I didn't like it when he wore Disco Doctor. And it didn't, and it stayed with me, that comment. So there we go. Maybe John's right. But no, I love this. And yeah. I'm still G'd up. I'm loving this series. I'm loving this Doctor. Oh, it's brilliant. All of it's amazing. Apart from the things I've just said. Farewell.